Hey there, and welcome to Throw Up Thursday. I'm your host, Dr. JJ Kelly, the punk rock doc.
Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to Throw Up Thursday. I am your host, Dr. JJ Kelly, the punk rock doc, and I will be joined in a minute by one of our other docs. Olivia is having a little vacation today, and so we are going to be joined by one of our other docs, Torby Torb. So let's let Torb in and see how it goes. Oh, hi, Corey. Hi, Sam. Let's see. Let's let meow. Let's see what happens today. Could get nuts. Hi, Grace. All right. We got it. Go live. All right. Okay. Joined. There we go.
There we go. Figured it out.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Co-host, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no, my pleasure.
So what do you
Getting
got?
a little more.
Now that we've
Question one?
delighted each other, shall we start with the questions? Or do you want to say anything about you or your involvement with the docs, or just introduce yourself or anything?
Sure. Yeah. My name's Torben. Torby Torb.
AKA meow meow meow.
Let's see. Yeah, I didn't catch everything you said. I'm one of the docs alongside Olivia and the rest of our crew. And
Are you nervous?
I'm so nervous.
Oh my God. You don't have to be nervous. There are only 4 people watching anyway. You just be yourself, honey bunny. You're going to be great. Don't even worry about it. What do we do when we're nervous?
Take
3
some breath.
deep abdominal breaths. Yes. Anyone would be nervous by this.
I was just on Insight Timer, which is an app you recommended.
Yeah, I love it.
I've been loving a lot of the meditations that they have on there.
Sweet.
Right?
Matthew Patty. I love his stuff.
Who's that?
Patti. It's a guy I'm working with right now. He does some like quantum physics-y stuff that'll blow your mind, man.
God. Sold.
So how's the TM going? Transcendental meditation going?
Getting like 1.5 a day. I know.
Fuck,
I
bro?
can't complain about being nervous and anxious when I'm not doing my 2 meditations a day.
Well, you can. I'm just not going to take it very seriously.
That's fair.
I don't know how people live without some form of like meditative practice. I mean, I would be going out of my mind. You guys are driving me a little bit crazy already in spring, but if I didn't have meditation, oh my gosh, I'd have face mushed you all on Zoom by now.
Yeah.
A loving one, but still. There's a lot of swirling around energy right now, not just with docs by any means. It's everywhere. There's so much drama and terrible driving and things in the world.
I've definitely noticed the driving of the people around me. It's all going downhill, and then I look at myself and I'm like, oh my God, I'm one of them. I don't know what's taking over me.
Do not be that. Okay, so why don't we dive right in?
Yeah. So first question, definitely a little bit of a change of mood here.
Okay.
With the shootings this week, on top of COVID, is a lot to deal with. Do you have any advice for dealing with the grief or anything you'd like to say about the events?
Makes me sad. I think it makes everybody a little bit scared and sad, and I think that if white people want to stop being called racist, then stop fucking acting like a racist. That's about all I got. What about you?
Yeah, I think my experience of it, like, with COVID, with this, like, low-level simmer of grief going on, the news of the shootings was, uh, it hit me really hard and in ways that I found difficult to separate just from my general grief these days.
Well,
Uh,
I mean, it's horrible and tragic and fucked up. Like, I mean, COVID has made everything, more intense probably, but that event is fucked up.
totally.
So, however anybody's feeling about it, I think is probably valid. However hard it hit you, it's valid. Like I don't want anybody, particularly Asian folks, particularly femme Asian folks, like I don't want anybody um invalidating their feelings about this. Have your
Mm,
feelings. Let's do something with them and do something about racism.
totally.
But I mean, I don't, you sound like you're kind of like, "Oh, I'm doing too much with it." But let's not do that. How about?
Right. I see that. I see what you're saying there, where it's just, yeah, just sitting with it and just being like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I'm seeing my tendency to wrap it up into all sorts of other things. And
Yeah. And so
yeah.
that means everybody's self-care has to go up. And it should anyway, because it's spring. And keep in mind the infusion of energy that comes with spring. It's not always positive energy. It's whatever energy you're already feeling is going to be amped up. So keep an eye on that. Validate it, let it go. Keep an eye on it, validate it, take some action. Make some choices, but it all has to start with the validation. You can't problem solve without the validation. You have to acknowledge the emotional experience you're having. So do it. Okay, let's move on.
All right. Next question. Um, I'm having a tough time sticking to my commitments to myself.
Yeah.
With with this isolation, I find myself falling into a hole where nothing seems to matter. Any advice for self-activation or accountability on that end?
Is that a doc that sent you that?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yes.
First of all, let's dial down the drama. Metaphors like falling into a hole, like if you're depressed, actually depressed, get some help, ask for help. Um, there is a sort of victimized helplessness thing that is going on as a result of this insurgence of energy with spring. So everybody is a little bit overwhelmed, I think. And with overwhelm often comes a paralysis and what I call, as you know, ragdoll or going possum. I can't. Somebody save me. Somebody do it for me. I want everyone, not just docs, but I want everyone to start separating the drama that they are creating in their lives as a result of this energy surge of spring and COVID and the state of the world and what is real and what you are capable of. You have skills. The docs are advanced students that have skills and are starting to collectively act like they don't, which happened last year at this time as well. And it happened in the 16 years of psychotherapy that I did before last year. The shit is real. March and April, mostly April, but it came early this year. Lucky healthcare provider. It it happens every year. People lose their damn minds in spring and they exhaust themselves and everybody else, just like getting their crap all over. And I'm starting to see that collective infection happening in our group. And I don't want you guys waiting for a Smackdown this year. And for those who aren't in our group, you're not lucky enough to even get a Smackdown, because regular people, non-punk rock docs don't go, will you fucking knock it off? You know how to do this. You do hard things all the time. Fucking do it. Because that seems cruel. And actually, that is the kindest goddamn thing that we can do for one another, is to let each other know when we're fucking up and not enable each other to go possum, ragdoll, victim on environmental circumstances and pretend like we don't have any skills. What were you going to say about it?
Oh, I was going to mention, not to make this too doc focused, but I didn't know if you saw one of the posts on the Facebook group. I think it was today or yesterday.
Yep.
Where one of our docs, yeah, it's super spot on. So yeah, we, I don't know, I was really proud of that someone stood up to give a little bit of a smackdown.
Yes. And that's what everybody needs to be doing for themselves and each other, not waiting for me or parents or bosses or some fucking person you think, you imagine is in an authority position to do it for you. Don't wait for your partner to do it. Do it for you. You are worth it. You have skills. You have resilience. I know this has gone on a long time, and I truly do have empathy for everyone. It's my job to make sure that empathy doesn't turn into enabling helplessness or perceived helplessness or pantomimed and performed helplessness. That wouldn't be the kindest thing to do, to just continue to let that happen. Sorry about that noise.
Yeah, and just in general in COVID, all that's been turned way up.
Yeah.
It seems, where all the ragdolling going possum. And I'm not going to pretend like I haven't been doing it myself.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not like I don't have forms of that too. I don't have all the answers, and it's much harder because I've chosen to be in a helping profession where I'm holding a lot of energy for a lot of people. Now that's my choice. So to sit around and bitch about it would be me engaging in a parallel process that I'm telling you guys not to do. Oh, poor me, I gotta fucking do a Smackdown. No, I chose this. And I love you guys, and I want to help you and many others. And sometimes that does include a Smackdown. I just think that particularly you guys are at an advanced point of emotional intelligence skills where you can be doing more of it for yourselves and with each other. You're all a bunch of sweethearts. You still gotta, when you love somebody, it doesn't mean you don't call them out on stuff. Like, if you don't, then that becomes about you. If you think somebody needs a Smackdown and you don't give it to them because you're too anxiously self-centered to do that, then you just made that shit about you, and that's narcy as fuck.
Damn. Yeah.
Like, it's scary to confront somebody that you love. They might react. They probably will react. And so what? That's scary as shit. You're still doing them a solid, and you don't want to sit there and take that either. Depending on what the behavior is, you don't want to just be like, yeah, go ahead, blame me for everything or whatever. You got to ask yourself, what is the kindest thing to do for everyone involved here, myself included? That's what wise mind is.
Yeah, that's some sophisticated shit.
Yeah. And it's also simple.
Right.
It is complex and it's simple, but it's hard to see. And especially as you guys get more educated and more emotionally intelligent, you get more sophisticated in your bullshit too. So that is a thing as well. We can intellectualize anything. And then that, I don't want to give you the bullets to shoot yourselves with, but I can't control that. I can't control what I teach you and how you use it. If you're going to use it in a self-harmy way because it's spring and there's a surge of energy and you don't know, you're like overwhelmed by it and having trouble managing it and having trouble asking for help, or, just getting disciplined, for Christ's sake. A little discipline goes a long way. Just write down your values and write down the behaviors that go with those values. That'd be a start. Quit giving yourselves all permission to ragdoll this shit. Because you're all capable of it. I've seen you all be so smart and resilient and emotionally intelligent. That's what irritates the shit out of me when you're not doing it. And then you spread it to each other.
Right, exactly.
Like, that's not love. That's not love.
And you can totally see the part. You can totally see the part of it where it's turning it inwards on yourself. When the way in which we'll permit shitty behavior, permit bullshit, and you can see how it's like this kind of, I think, self-harm almost.
Yeah. Not
right.
Almost. It is. Yes, you're right. Yep. And there's shame. When you hurt yourselves or you hurt other people that you know and love, that causes shame. And then there's going to be a collective shame spiral after I give the smackdown that I should not have needed to do. And after the blame and the demonization of me for giving the smackdown, which is the kinder thing to do. I mean, it's all this such a offloading of responsibility. Like, none of that needs to happen. Just tighten it up, tighten up boundaries with yourselves and with each other. Say the difficult things, but not from a place of anger or fear. Get yourself emotionally regulated, breathe, get to the calm, get to the wise mind, get to your baseline, and then say the scary thing. Or just do the scary thing for you in your own life. Everybody's got to be a little bit braver than they've been. And that's not just docs. That's in the world. Like, it seems now, I think, with the vaccination and everything, that people are feeling a little bit of relief, but then that scares them to feel that relief. They're feeling a little bit of hope, like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and that scares the shit out of people. And
that makes everything till then seem shittier, kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. It's like there's fear in the vulnerability of hope. And that's real. And I feel that. Like, I can easily validate that. Let's not turn that shit in on ourselves or on each other. Let's just be brave some more.
Totally.
We've been through a lot in this country, a lot, and in the world. And we could go down the road of we shouldn't have to fucking keep doing this, shouldn't. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe it never should have fucking happened. Yet it did. And we have to deal. And we have to continue to act according to our values through the home stretch for us. Not to be polite to the world, not to be fucking politically correct, but because we have the integrity to act according to our values, and that maintains our self-esteem and self-confidence within a crisis.
Yeah, and I think thinking back about just kind of the experience of trying to do anything during COVID, these shoulds come up super loud in my mind. Where it's like everything's a little bit harder to achieve, just logistically more difficult. There's more roadblocks and everything. Yeah. And I can say personally, just trying to get anything done, all of these should thoughts, this should be easier. I shouldn't have to deal with it. The vaccine should be here already. All these things come up, and it's just weighs me down
Yeah.
in kind of like doing any of the things I want to do.
Totally.
And then of course there's the I should have done that better. I should be more
Right.
brave.
Because shame is heavy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like fear has a heaviness to it, but it's a hell of a lot lighter than shame. I mean, plus you put the shame on the fear that you haven't even regulated yet, right? When you're shooting like that. So like you're doubly fucked then and just weighed down, and then it's harder to be brave. It's way easier to be brave than to fucking hide out from shame. And if even if people don't understand how exactly that works in the way that you guys do, everybody knows that feeling, that yuck that comes with violating your own value system. And then you want to hide it, and then it makes you anxious about hiding it, which makes you more likely to do the shameful thing again. It's such a fucked up vicious cycle. Brave is so much easier. Being scared and finding your courage is so much easier than hiding out from or coming out of hiding from shame.
And if you're like some of us in the world where it's like, oh, I'll just apply a healthy layer of shame on this fear, maybe it'll make it go away.
I'll slather that bread with shame and then I'll cover up. I mean, you are not alone. People do that. They shame themselves to avoid the fear. They shame themselves to avoid anger at something because they somehow create a story in their heads that they're in control then. If the last year has taught us anything, we're not in fucking control. Stop grasping for it. Just be kind to yourself. There's a comment here that I think I'm interpreting. You know, you got to be brave just to go to the grocery store. Yes. The reacclimation. Take it slowly. I've been saying for a year, bring the bar down on your productivity, on your goals, on your, I mean, not like life goals necessarily, but like your daily task shit, your to-do list. Cut it in half at least. And then give yourself praise for accomplishing that. What does Corey say here? Tips for dealing with family members, friends who constantly should you, i.e. you shouldn't feel bad for not visiting us. You shouldn't feel bad. First of all, feel bad. What is bad? Come on. But yes, I realize our family members have not learned the vocabulary of DBT, which is emotion words, not bad, good, right, wrong. You shouldn't feel bad. My answer to that, Corey, as you probably could guess, is the humor shaming. First of all, if anyone dares to tell me what I should do, which very few people do, I'm like, oh, should I? Is that really the best thing to do? You know, I might go totally juvenile on it, or I might be like, you know what? I think I'm the best judge for what's best for me, or I'll make my own choices. Thanks, I'm a grown ass woman. Like, I humor shame. That may not be the best way to go. That may not be what Corey wants. Although, Corey, you can humor shame like a pro. So I don't know why you wouldn't do that other than fear of the confrontation. But you should, and you could say why, and then just put it on them. Why should I? What makes you say that? If you're curious at all, or if you want to draw them out so that they end up saying the thing that like sounds so dumb coming out of their mouths, they might actually cop on to it as they speak. But people, I mean, it's different too for people in their 20s. Like everybody shoulds people in their 20s and treats them crappy. So, I mean, I do what I want. Would be my answer to that. Corey, if you have a more specific follow-up as to who says that and about what, I will give you a more specific answer. Although we're talking right after this live, so I could do it privately too. Yes, taking a shower. Even, in DBT, there's this concept of mastery. And mastery seems like this big concept, but really what it is doing anything that's just a little bit difficult in the day. For some people right now, it's getting out of bed. It's taking a shower. It's brushing your teeth, whatever. We give ourselves props
for whatever we have done that we agree with that day. Anything that was a little bit hard, anything that improved our lives just a little bit, we got to remember the pat on the back for the little shit. As Americans, we do not do that. It's only the big shit, big money and big enterprise and fucking big deals and whatever. No, the little shit is what keeps us going in the day-to-day. Tips for all things you should have accomplished during lockdown. Yeah. Did I answer that? 40 Spice? I mean, I did answer that. Did you catch the answer to that? Throw it away. Eliminate the word should from your vocabulary forever. You will be happier as a human being. Nah, that's bless you. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's perfect because I think I could do it better, but I need more details, but we'll sort it out later. Torben, what are you having? Thoughts?
Yeah, one thing I was thinking about as far as the celebrating little things, lowering one's expectations. For me recently, it's been getting out of bed without getting on my phone.
Ooh, great.
And just like starting off the day with like
choice.
Yeah, nah, like get out of here, you know? And like sometimes like a little celebration, like, whoa!
Yes!
You know?
I'm the most disciplined person in the world! I rule! But you see, there's choice in that, and that's where the discipline comes in. Discipline just means choice. Make the fucking most sensible, effective choice for your life right now. Because who are you going to blame? You spend 40 minutes on the phone in a plan where you decided you weren't going to do the phone thing. Plus, you can but the shit out of that. Yeah, but my meditation was on the phone. I've done that one. Yeah, but my other, life building thing, my Marianne Williamson thing is on the fucking phone. Like, who gives a shit? You can do all that stuff later. Like, you made the plan, and then you at your own plan. We've all done it, but let's stop doing it. Let's tighten that shit up a little bit so that we're not mired in shame and conjured helplessness on top of the actual fucking difficulty that we're having in life right now.
Totally.
Big dose of IG shaming disturbing too. Yeah, like, who needs it? Who needs it? Nobody needs to scroll first thing in the morning. Nobody needs to do that. I love that plan, by the way. What made you come up with that, Tor?
Oh, it was part of ITAA, which is a 12-step fellowship about IT addicts. And one of the big things that I took from someone else's list was, not getting on your phone before you do your whole morning routine. And I was like, oh my God, when you put it in words that simple, like, right. Don't get on the screen before you finish your morning routine. Right. Super straightforward, super simple, and there's no like buts in there, right. Which I think is just so refreshing and so easy to celebrate.
Lovely. Have you accomplished it? Have you?
Yeah.
Good for you. Has it had an impact?
Oh, certainly. It helps me stick to it. I think when I make arbitrary less clear rules, it makes it a lot more difficult to celebrate the successes. Yeah.
And what kind of an impact does it have on your day to not be on the phone first thing?
I think it just carries through the whole day. And the reason I'm in the fellowship is because I struggle with staying off of screens just to kind of like
self-medicate,
empty my brain, self-medicate my anxiety, and just starting off the day on the right foot. Because if I do, start, even if like a starting scrolling right at the beginning of the day, it bleeds into the rest of my day. I'm sitting at the computer, only 10 feet away from my bed or something like that, and like it just transfers right into that.
Yeah.
So that kind of like starting on the right foot is so huge.
And I think that is probably the take home we can end on is mindfulness, the practice of mindfulness versus mindlessness. You know, making deliberate choices based on your values versus just spinning out, not making choices, but really you're making choices not to make choices. So let's not fool ourselves with like foolishness and childlike behavior. It's perfectly natural that we would regress under this amount of distress. Let's just not believe our own bullshit. Let's use it as a cue. Okay, I'm regressing a little bit. Okay, it's spring. That makes some sense with the surge of energy. Okay, so what do I need to do to get myself back on track? We don't have to shame ourselves to do it. We don't have to go like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. Because that's just narcy anyway. To go into that, oh, I'm such a piece of shit that didn't do everything perfectly. Fuck all that. Just use the regression. You caught it. Use that as a cue to ask yourself, what am I feeling? How do I regulate it? What do I want to tighten up? What that is according to my values. I've been giving myself permission in a bunch of places to act not according to my values. Where are those places? And how can I tighten that up so that I am in alignment with my values and my behaviors, and I am disciplined and living in that way so as not to erode more self-esteem and self-confidence, but to build it.
Totally. Willfulness.
Thank you for joining us, Torben. I hope you will join us again because you did pretty well for being nervous. You'll be less and less nervous as we go. You just need some exposure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. No, see, have you seen Sam? When he does stuff like this with me, he like freaks out. It's
I'll have to go through and find one of the old ones.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So thanks for joining us. Thanks, Corey. And we'll see you next week, 4:00 PST for Throw Up Thursday, so you can come barf your problems and leave feeling better. Bye.
Get in touch with me, Dr. JJ Kelly, the punk rock doc, at drjjkelly.com.